Okay, so it is March 2nd. Thank you very much for attending. We're a low number, but we might get one more councillor, but we haven't actually got that yet. So if I just call up the agenda and work through that, that'd be better. Right, item number 1 is to receive any apologies for absence and declarations of interest.
Apologies from Kieran, Ian and Sharon.
Sharon, okay. Now you've all seen the reasons. Although Sharon was late, but I think you...
I have added it to Dropbox.
Okay, so the variety of reasons, none the same. So if you're happy that I accept those as
yes.
Reasons for absence, I'll propose that. Second?
Yes. Oh, sorry, I'll second it.
Yeah, all in favour? I think it's the same time we need to do that, so you can receive. Okay, thank you very much. Right, at this point I can close the meeting if the public wishes to speak. Does the public wish to speak? Ken?
No, thank you.
The public.
Okay, so we'll go straight into the item 171, which is to approve the minutes of the Parish Council meeting held on the 3rd of February. You've all seen that. Are there any... There's 3 minutes to approve, but we'll start off with the first one. If you're all happy with that. Propose, I mean, I wasn't there for the whole length of it, but what I read seems to be okay. Are you? Yeah, I can propose it. Yeah. You're all seconding it. All in favour? Thank you very much. We then go on to planning meetings, Tuesday the 4th of February. Yes, we were all, well, there was 5 of us, and I presume 3 is enough, is it?
3 is enough.
Yeah,
Well, the
okay.
majority that was present.
Yes, because Laura wasn't there, was not on that committee, but the 3 of us can vote and happy. So 4th of February was the 2 there, that was Park Farm and the old rectory. If you're happy that that's a good record, so I can propose we sign those.
I'll second
Second, are you happy?
I agree.
Thank you much. And then we move on to the larger one, which was the proposed development 18 houses at the end of Churchyard. Tuesday 18th. Again, got minutes for that. I'll propose that I sign those.
it. I'll second it. Or Anne, second it.
So,
Spread it round.
are we happy?
Yeah.
Everyone's had
Okay.
it.
Fine.
Yes,
Thank you
okay.
much. That's good. Okay. Now to item 1, second 2, matters arising from the last meeting, including Clerk's report, information only in the discussion. Over to our clerk.
Okay. So the councillor vacancy, Councillor Sarah Partridge has resigned. The appropriate notice has been issued, which is the notice that allows 10 electors of the parish to call an election should they so wish. That notice has now expired without that request being made, so no election will be called, and the council is now in a position to co-opt, which is later on the agenda. I've received a notification from Highways regarding the subsidence at the 5 Arch Bridge. So the retaining wall has collapsed. So this is on the B1040, just to get out of the village towards St Ives. There's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit imposed, and there are currently temporary traffic lights there as well. A copy of the order has been posted on the website, and the information is posted on Facebook as well.
Is that on our website?
Yes. An invitation has been received to attend the Cambridgeshire Think Communities Approach Stewardship Circle Co-Design Day, which is a bit of a mouthful, on the 30th of March. If anyone would like to attend, can you let me know? We had a lot of policies that were adopted last month, and all of those are now on the website. I've also created a website page for the LHI bid, as agreed. The responses for the CAPALC incorporation proposal, the Climate Change and Environmental Strategy consultation, and the Joint Practitioners Advisory Group feedback survey have been sent as agreed. I have emailed Huntingdonshire District Council to request a bin for the playground, but I haven't received a response yet, so I'll follow that up. And the sign project is ongoing with the design of the new sign. With regards to the easement at Church Lane, which the parishioners were requesting, I have spoken again with Huntingdonshire District Council to see how this could be progressed, and received some different advice that I've passed on to the residents concerned for them to action. So there's nothing the parish council can do at this point. And that's me done.
It's my quorum. Thank you very much.
I think so.
Okay. So if we go on to, or back to the agenda. So following on from the clerk's report there, it's a recruitment process for the co-opted councillor and agreed deadlines. If you look at the supporting documents, you've got an outline of what is required. When the vacancy, or when the councillor retired, left, it was stated that if anyone was interested to contact the clerk. Nobody has contacted the clerk yet, so we do need to encourage people to contact the clerk. But it's co-opted. Sorry?
It went on the notice boards and it went on the website. So on the actual notice that says you can contact HTC if you want to call an election, there's a line that says the next bit will be co-option, and if you would like to be considered for co-option, please contact the clerk.
But we can, well, depending on how we discuss it, we need to sort out how we're going to advertise, if we're going to advertise, and the deadlines that we put by which we would like people to, I guess, apply for the job, show an interest. And is there anything else we would need to require of any candidates?
I think it would be worth doing on Facebook. We tend to put other things on Facebook.
We can draft it as a job vacancy, almost.
Yeah.
Just as an aside, for reasons I don't really understand, I got a notification of a co-opting thing for parish council, or a council, that came from St Neots Council. So I thought to myself, gosh, they've cast the net wide. I haven't gone for it by the way. But it just makes me wonder.
Yeah, no,
That's
well,
a town
exactly.
council, so it's a town council, so they still come under the same laws as state and third-tier local government, but it's a town council.
but if you look at the requirements, your standards for parish council, they have to live within 4.8 kilometres, so that would rule them out. But I mean, I think we need to have in mind a date by which we'd like people to apply, and then we can decide how we cast the net for adverts.
What happens if we get to a date and we don't have anyone then? So if
We
we
just
need
carry
to
on
send
without.
it, so is there any requirements set ahead in that sense? Because
I think you have to set some sort of date, otherwise people will always be, well, I'll apply for that later.
well, then we could have already got someone or not.
I think the point there is that it's just one line at the bottom. There's a lot of stuff, and then there's a line at the bottom. If we just make it an advert, that's the point of that advert, rather than two things. It's like reading English, isn't it? You read the top bit, the bottom bit doesn't always get read. So I would suggest that we say that we'd like people to show an interest to the clerk, such that we could hopefully,
Start the new year.
yeah,
We could always
Well,
re-advertise if we don't get any interest,
yeah,
can't we?
absolutely.
Yes. But hopefully we'll get more than one, and then we can vote at the next meeting.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. Well, if only one person has shown an interest and that person comes on,
They still have to be voted
they won't be awkward, wouldn't it?
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can vote against them. You can vote against them.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, okay.
And there is particular rules for the voting. You have to have an absolute majority, not just a majority. So you do it in rounds.
If we get more than two.
If you get more than two.
It's a political party.
So are you happy with that proposal that we set a date that any applicant, a strong word, but any
28th of March.
Candidate?
candidate, 28th of March, yes, which would be in time for supporting documents. And if we leave it to the clerk advertising on Facebook and website and maybe letters on those boards. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to propose that.
So you're proposing
Yeah.
that.
The deadline for applicants will be the 28th of March, which
It's a Saturday.
Saturday.
That's
Okay.
right. It's my children's birthday, but I'm
Okay.
Oh, is it?
I'm just going to make Lord's Children's birthday.
I know that. That's in my diary. Clerk to draft.
Yeah, adverts.
advert.
Yeah. Facebook and website and notice board. And presumably they could contact the council for more information. Cool. I mean, it would be a good thing if they contacted us to get an idea of how much time is actually involved in it. So if we do get a phone call from a colleague or a friend, just gloss it a bit. Right? Good, okay, that's that done. That's my proposal. Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah.
And secondly, all in favour? Right, thank you very much. Okay, so moving on to the next item. Review the management accounts and budget analysis. Right.
From what I could see, this was the sort of historic rather than looking forward, yes?
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah, we did the budget before. This is how our spend is.
Yeah.
And I could ask our responsible financial officer, is there anything that needs to be flagged up?
Not really.
No? That's okay. Do I need to
There's nothing in there.
propose
The
it?
supplies, I don't think.
Hmm?
Just propose receipt.
Okay, so I'm going to propose, does anyone want to discuss any matters at all? Or?
Can I ask you that question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
brilliant.
Right. You can't find it.
Three is correct.
Good.
So we're over. So yeah, that's a proposal that we just, I will propose that we've received the accounts. I need a second of that, please.
That's
Okay, that's Peter seconding it. All in favour? We haven't yet. That's fine.
okay.
And I presume you could sort of flag up things and let us know. So it's good to get on a monthly basis when we can.
Yeah. Well, your next month will be a year-end one.
Oh, okay, so we need to.
Yeah.
Right, that'll be a little bit more time consuming, yes, okay. Okay, Hilton Traffic Group.
Belatedly, I sent a summary around. Do you want me just to read through the kind of
Yeah,
headlines?
because not everyone would have perhaps seen it, so yes.
There were four topics in terms of updating. We've been trying for some time, as you may recall, to meet with the County Council Transport team. And finally, we got a response from Jeremy Smith, who's the Group Transport Strategy and Funding chap. He's very happy to meet. He's proposed a date of March 11th at 4 p.m. And as far as I'm concerned, that's fine, but we're just waiting for other members of the traffic group to give a view. We don't all need to be there for sure.
We do, we don't.
We don't.
No, as long as we have enough people to show interest.
Yeah. And of course it's a time of day when people are working, etc.
Yeah.
So we're trying to confirm that. Haven't quite sorted out where we're going to meet, but he's coming here to Hilton, so from a short time if needs be. So any ideas on where to meet?
Well, my immediate response to that one was the Methodist Church. But Wednesday's sometimes a problem, but in the evening, 4 o'clock, but he won't get more than an hour, will he?
I wouldn't have thought it would be the
No.
county council.
It would just be sort of on his way home sort of thing. So.
Yeah.
But that'd be a good one because it's can be quite noisy with this church. That might be quite good. I don't really want to take any questions.
It's not a question, Graham, it's an offer. As I'm on the working group, you'd be quite welcome to meet at our house if you want to.
Okay.
That's all I was
Thank you, Ken.
saying.
But I think
I'm going to wait for numbers before.
Okay, no problem.
at the meeting when we showed support, we did say that we would offer to have meetings in the church.
Yeah.
But that's an option.
Okay.
But Wednesday was certainly
We'll let you know.
a problem with the choir, but that's fine. Sorry, Carol.
If you do go to the Methodist Church, can you do it by me? 'Cause I
Of
keep
course. Definitely. How do you know how to do
You'll
that?
book it when you yeah.
Yeah, I'll sort that out.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. The agenda for this meeting, and I have shared this with Jeremy Smith, is really to look at the whole traffic issue around here at a strategic level instead of tactic by tactic. So what they might be prepared to do to help us significantly with the traffic situation, get Hilton clearly registered in their minds as a significant issue that the county council needs to own, and lastly, with whom in the transport team we can best maintain contact from now on. Jeremy Smith, when he got back to me, suggested that Jack Eagle, who's the Principal Transport and Infrastructure Officer, was the person to keep close to, and he is leading the work on HGV flows in the Diamond area, which is quite useful.
That's a good contact.
Very good, yeah. I've been corresponding with Ian Bates on this, and he may or may not be able to join us at the meeting, but he knows all about it. Second topic was the signage, various versions of signage that we've been seeking. We really need to get both the ways, the manner approach, and the funds to get interactive warning signs for the HGV overnight ban. But we'll take the opportunity when meeting with Jeremy Smith to flag that and see whether he's got any right ideas. but we'll also look for other sources of funds in due course. The third topic is LHI. I noticed that the time frame for applying for LHI support, we'll get a decision on our current LHI by the 10th of March. We've decided to hold on prompting the next one until we've had the meeting with Jeremy Smith. So hopefully he would give us a bit of a steer as to whether is it worth putting in the effort for another LHI application. And the last topic was, I seem to recall from our last meeting that we now have on our finance, our budget, a line for traffic issues, and the sum proposed was £200 because of the current LHI bid. And that's the minimum sum the Parish Council would have to pay towards feasibility study. But Laura here also prompted that we request another £530 so that we can participate in another environmental study, which I hope you've got information about. Do you want to add anything to that?
Well, that'll be the next item. So,
Right, so I have got something to add from the HCD as well. But
Okay, I'll come back to you then. And tomorrow evening the policy committee will discuss the terms of reference for the group. I think that's it, really.
thank you.
Laura.
So because this is still part of the traffic working group, I did go to the HCB committee meeting, which was last week. So it kind of leads on with what I'm saying about the diamond area traffic modelling that was being done. So the transport modelling manager from Cambridgeshire County Council came to that meeting to report on the work that's been done for the diamond area steering group committee. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually include Hilton currently what they've done. It's basically along the A1123 and that diamond there. So they basically split that road into loads of different sections, but they did do actually proper ANPR data checks to see where HGVs were entering, when they were leaving. They analysed all this data, which has been going on for the last sort of 8 or 9 months, I think. From their analysis, they identified that only 7 to 10% of the traffic is considered through traffic, and the rest has a legitimate reason for stopping based on them tracking the number plates through that road. But they are now extending their analysis to look at in roads going into that and coming out of it, and looking at all different routes into that, and also looking at the big trip generators within the diamond area to see whether their routing agreements are being followed, whether anything's been breached. And they split up the road into loads of different segments and looking at all the different areas. So people at our committee meeting were quite surprised about low percentage. They thought that didn't ring true with what they're seeing going through their villages. Their draft report was submitted to the steering group at Cambs County Council last week, and apparently that report will be sent out to all district and county councillors, they said, this week. So hopefully we can get a copy of that report, because it might just be useful to apply it to what we're doing.
Yeah.
They did say there's no quick fixes based on what they've discovered from that analysis, because they don't think most of it's traffic that's not supposed to be going along that route in their analysis, but they are doing further analysis. Some of their recommendations were about potentially a speed reduction, because slowing the traffic might reduce the noise, which is one of the biggest impacts on people's quality of life, although it doesn't help with pollution. And they are suggesting more repeats of the survey or extending it into different directions. So hopefully we can jump in now on that with Jeremy and get it extended onto our routing. Not quite sure how it works in terms of us being on the advisory freight group, or what the different maps work, but
this is east-west traffic, is it?
So that, yeah, well, it's along anything that's going along the A123, but some of it might be coming in north-south and travelling, or so they
through here and change.
Yes.
Areas, Cadnam, Wilmington, all the way to the A10.
You say if they're just measuring up on a straight route, who knows what's joining it?
Yeah, I think they've got, so they are extending, I think they've got cameras on now, they've split it into different parts, so they've got like some IC areas, the area to Hadnam, Wilmington, then to the A10 and beyond, and I think they're putting ANPR on the different entrance and exit points north and south of that road to see maybe where traffic is going to and from within that.
Okay. Good.
Good.
Sounds like they've got a lot of work, but they seem to, and they did acknowledge that it is a big issue, even though the data doesn't show necessarily what we think it should show. They still did acknowledge that it is a big concern.
This is Cambs Council
Yeah.
knowledge.
Mm.
Good.
That's something.
Get
Yeah,
somewhere,
excellent.
actually.
Well done for attending, thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Lauren.
And was that thing discussed, Laura?
So
Yeah.
the next point,
Yeah.
that was the next point. So I haven't really got a conclusion because there were other parish council representatives there, but none of them had like a decision on whether their parish council would or would not be able to put that money up for the environmental reporting. So we've discussed it quite a few times in that meeting, and there's some general interest, but when people go back to their parishes either don't have the money or don't know what's going to be done with the data or can't make a decision. So we kind of go around in a bit of circles. So I thought it would still be possible if we could look at proposing whether we could provisionally agree to spend that if the other councils would agree. Because if no one provisionally agrees, then we're never going to get anywhere.
Exactly,
So.
yes. Now, I appreciate that the cost of 530 is based on the 6 off.
Yes.
Yeah, and the
But
only thing with that is that apparently the HCV committee actually wrote the report. So the guy that did all the testing does like the basic analysis and interprets the data, but the full report was actually written by members of the HCV committee themselves in their own personal time.
Right.
So, but most of that report would still be valid. It's just updating the data. Really.
Yes. In fact, if you keep the same heading, the same whatever.
So it would be the
includes
same
slightly
amount of
different.
work, I don't think, the next time around.
Yeah.
So.
But yes, I can imagine that with 6 people, they're all at different times. But I mean, I think what we would hopefully do today is discuss the proposed figure of 530. If we agree to it, it would be in principle. And then you can take that back, and if they then say no, then we have to think about whether we feel that strongly about going solar, but it would be obviously more money for solar.
And then hopefully with the other meetings we'll have worked out what
Yeah.
data they do need
Yeah.
for.
Okay, so that's the proposal. So it's an estimated cost of 530. That will be each village would be
Yes.
expected to pay that amount. It's been done before. Does anyone else want to say anything about that before I suggest that we? Are we okay with that? It's not actually in the budget, but we'll have to cut a bit here and there.
Yes.
That's, I mean, the budget's gone a bit sort of haywire already, isn't it? So, but as long as and that's the beauty of having the ongoing budget, then we can see as the year
Yes,
goes, which
that's
we've got to sort of start. So
Teaming and leading, it's known as.
is it? Okay. Okay, so the proposal is that we spend or allow a spend of up to £530 or approximately £530. This would be approved in principle, subject to others. Is that vague enough?
Yeah.
In principle? Because we don't want to actually
If
have
and
some.
only if.
Yes,
Others.
yeah. But this is based on others doing it as well. Probably it's not a requirement that we would then do ourselves, so it's a
Less cost £530 just.
Yes, right.
Well, exactly.
Wouldn't that be nice?
But I mean,
Well, I
we
think
need.
like the noise monitoring was supposed to be around £100 a week, the vibration monitoring about £300 a week. That's the exact figures I've got at the moment. I can't remember what the other ones were. And then his analysis, the reporting was the bit that was split then between the villages really.
Yes,
So.
yes. But I say we need to allow Laura to have a figure that the parish council have agreed to, so that she can stand up and say, well, my parish council have done something, so please say.
Yeah.
So that's the proposal, that we approve that spend in principle. Can I second that? Peter's, and
Too slow.
we're nodding, and all in favour?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's great. Okay. Item number, whatever it is, 176, discuss and decide whether to pursue the suggestion for Community Road Watch to install pedestrian crossing warning signs at the paddocks. To discuss and decide upon whether to accept the offer from Community Road Watch to contribute £500 towards these signs. Now, in your supporting docs, you will see that we've had that we have put, or we applied, or whatever we did. So we had a visit from the county councillor, or the county council lady, who met with our clerk, officer. And you've got the approximate maximum spend there. So Nicola met with the lady from Highways, officer Highways, and Well, the maximum estimated cost is £3,000. Now we have to bear in mind that's the maximum estimated, so no more than that. But we also have to bear in mind that this is her business, and one assumes she knows.
Yeah.
Well, it's covers.
Like a
There's
lot.
probably
So
paperwork
the
involved. Well,
The signs have to be manufactured.
They don't just have a pedestrian crossing sign.
No, because there's different sizes
Something
depending
about
on. No, she said they might have some in the depot, but it's unlikely because they have different sizes depending on what the speed limit is. Because as you go faster, the signs get bigger. There has to be surveys where, particularly on the St Ives outbound direction towards St Ives, that side of the road there will be utilities. So they have to do a site survey and they have to do work to avoid digging into the utilities. They won't just be able to dig there, they'll have to do all sorts of exploratory work first. He said it won't be quite so bad on the other side, but they can't. I did say, couldn't you just put both signs on the other side of the road?
Not necessarily. There's no posts around there, I take it, then you can just put the sign on.
and it's probably also the paperwork, isn't it? They're probably going to put it in
Yeah,
the
so they've
local
got to do a
press,
safety survey.
then going to install it. So it's a maximum of £3,000. Now you have to bear in mind that we've been offered a £500 help, but I also have to. It's not in our budget. That's so 2,500 that we might have to pay. It's not in the budget, and I think we have to consider what kind of effect it's going to have. I mean, just as an aside, I don't know how many of you have gone down dual carriageway A roads and seen these pedestrian crossing signs, and you think, what am I supposed to do with that piece of information? Surely when you come into the village, seeing houses is as much an indication that you might see pedestrians as
Exactly.
seeing a further sign. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Exactly, it doesn't seem to.
No, it doesn't, does it?
But
Sure.
we haven't got the money, have we?
no. So unless anyone feels strongly,
I didn't expect it to be that much money, to be honest. It's
No.
quite
Right,
surprising.
I mentioned last time, didn't I, that we proposed 4,000 to reduce the speed limit signs and reduce the speed limit across the
Well,
green.
that's because speed limits had to be published and it was like a TRO like sort of thing, but I didn't think just a pedestrians crossing sign had the same impact.
How much did the zebra crossing cost? Do you
Well,
know?
that's
For the
exactly
zebra
like,
crossing,
yeah.
So once you start doing that sort of thing, the costs go.
speed bumps are 10,000 each, aren't
Could be, you know, there's £500 from Speed Watch or other, and could we look for other sources of funds and contribute something from the parish council? I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying, well, rather than drop it entirely, and I don't know who raised it and how critical it is for people at the paddocks, but they are a bit isolated out there. You know, when you do leaflets and stuff like that, there's nowhere to walk.
But this is only a sign. This is,
Oh, yes,
this is
I
not,
know,
It's
I
not.
know.
It's not a crossing. It's just a sign.
Mm.
And it's all on a tight deadline as
But
well.
that's what I mean, what's the contribution,
Mm.
when's our timeline to
Well, he
accept that?
wanted it by the end of March,
That's right.
or the organisation was to be done by the end of March.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
So I know we haven't discussed what we might do for another LHI bid, but that sort of thing is what you could potentially get the money for from LHI.
Yeah.
But, and you would need contributions towards it, so that's, I'm just thinking about.
Well, I was hoping that we could get it on safety grounds. That the Cambs County Council would come along and say, yes, it's going to be an advantage for safety, but it doesn't meet their requirements. So if you did have it, it would be at your expense, as council expense. So, bearing on the time here, I'm going to propose that we don't accept it, and that we leave things as they are, but bear it in mind for any LHI bid that might come along.
And we could also raise it when we meet with this chap, Jeremy Smith,
See
and
would that
Jack
help?
Eagle.
Yes. Because actually a low cost is other things, isn't it? Okay. So that's the proposal. Can I have it? Is that simply? That's
I think you might need to do it as two proposals, two items. So you've got to pursue the suggestion and accept the offer. So you need 2 votes.
okay. Discuss and decide to do. So we're not okay. So we're not. So the proposed. So my proposal is that we don't go ahead with the pedestrian crossing at this moment. I'll second that, please. Second it. All in favour?
I guess so.
Laura, are you with us or abstaining? You with us? Okay. Yeah. Fine. Okay. Sounds good. And then the second one is then, as a result of that, we will have to not accept Community Road Watch's contribution towards that sign, because we're not going to have a sign, so that's the proposal. One second of that, please. Thank you. All in favour?
It's inevitable, I think.
You?
I'm just wondering if there's any way we could speak to that person to see if there's any,
Well,
I'm assuming not probably, if we don't accept it for this particular purpose.
yes, exactly.
then-
So it's on this deadline, so.
Quite specific, isn't that right? So I'm happy to give you the text of the message.
Yeah.
I think
So-
it might be worth saying that
Sorry,
we'd
no,
love
I-
to, we'd love to do it.
Are you?
Was that all in favour, or
Are you?
didn't see it?
Or are you? She wasn't. She was. You can say. I've got 3 votes.
Well, I'll abstain then, but.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Just 'cause
Yeah,
I'm indecisive.
Okay.
It's very difficult, isn't it? Because it's a nice offer, but it's
It's a
such
good
an
thing to
expensive-
turn down
It's a good
£500
idea.
or something, doesn't it? But I can't think of a way to.
But I mean,
Cost around 500 quid.
it might be worth saying to them that it's not a topic that we are going to now forget about, that given the other traffic issues that we're
Oh, yeah,
raising
yes,
with county
yes.
council, that will be included.
Yeah, I think we can have a nice response.
Yeah.
Do a nice response, please. Good. Okay. Right. Item 177, to discuss and decide additional fee for SILCA, Certificate in Local Council Administration, registration with the SLCC, Society for Local Council Clerks, cost £350. Now this is carrying on from the training cost that was agreed last month. This, as I understand it, is to register with the Society of Local Council. What we agreed last month was the cost of the training. This is now registration with SLCC, and it's a one-off cost, is it?
This is a one-off cost and it's not battable.
Right.
So is that like the certification thing that we had that we discussed previously? I think?
Yes, it's a certification, and it also, because all the work is submitted through a hub, so it gives you the login to that. So then your work is submitted, a tutor then reviews it and either passes it or gives you feedback on it. So it gives you that access to the tutor that's going to review
Basically,
your
you
work.
can't do the training without.
I
just don't know why this is great.
It's ridiculous.
Well, it's because it's different organisations. So the training, the actual on-site training is done by CAPALC, where they help you go through your portfolio and just talk you through what you need to put in your portfolio, and then you go to the FLCC and submit your portfolio for assessment.
And presumably CAPALC is Cambridge, so there's all these sort of
Yeah.
local councils go into one society.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's that. Okay.
Well, I think it's terribly expensive for an online facility.
It's, yes, but then having said that, it's a small part of our budget, and hopefully it's a one-off.
It's the qualification, basically, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And it's 2 years, one course?
You've got to complete it within a year of start.
Okay.
And Nicola's offered to do, share the cost of it, doesn't she, in terms of extra hours? She said she's going to cover half the extra hours herself.
So we got it for some time away.
Yeah. Which was,
That's
great,
isn't
isn't it?
It shows
That's
the
what it
on
says.
all
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
Okay, then, so I'm going to propose that we accept that additional cost of £350. Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, so
Please second it. All in favour? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's good.
Right.
Right, now this one's tricky. Item 178. To receive a report from the media group regarding the website content accessibility in accordance with the public sector bodies. I think who's in the group?
I was at the meeting, and Sharon's at the meeting. No, you weren't.
No,
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 Sharon
I was
was
confused the way that Anne
Yeah.
spoke. I thought she was there. No, just you and I.
Wrong.
wasn't it?
No.
Sharon,
Yes.
Kieran,
Yes.
you and I.
Yes. So as Peter was the convener, I'm going to ask Peter to explain what is required.
Yeah, and do
Wrong.
we have to do it?
So,
Yes.
Simple
we
question.
have to have a website that is acceptable at WCAG 2.1 standards, AA rated, by the 20th of September this year.
Well, this is about accessibility.
It is about accessibility. So it's about anybody being able to access the information on our website by using a reader, being able to expand documents to make them readable, and the reader would. So if one of the problems that we have is if we scan a document and put it on, that's not acceptable to a reader. So our website would fail on the basis of that. So if you scan this on and put it on, a reader,
I'm just thinking how many millions of websites.
there are lots. There are huge.
Someone's going to make it.
When you
Yes,
look at,
that's
when you
right.
look online about what's happening, there's large percentage of the country is not compliant, but they have to be compliant to some extent by the 20th of September 2020.
Or
So,
what?
or you can be fined. So the Royal Society for People at the Institute of Blind
Mm.
have taken websites to court for not, and been charged with labelling fine £3,000 for not being accessible to people who are visually impaired. So it's not a question of do we have to, unfortunately, it's a question of what we have to do to make our website acceptable to that. So the first thing we should be considering is an audit of our website to see whether it is acceptable. And you have got some quotes in there.
What a very wide variation of...
Mm.
D is a local person. So that's why perhaps it's less than the other people that are quoted. Yeah? When we get told that our website is not up to AA standard, we then have to do some remedial work on getting it to AA standard.
The first step is to write the statement.
Yes, so there are statements that need to go on to say, we acknowledge that our website is up to standard, and there are some documents we will not change because they're old, but we will change others and we will look to correct that moving forward. The Society of Local Councils has very nicely come up with a deal with a company called Aubergine to help parish councils across the land make their websites compliant, which would be potentially the next stage, although the people who are offering us to do the audit at that price have said they'll look at working with us to try and make it
Yeah.
AA standard. Well, the question, you've seen them there, they ask questions about what standard we need to get to, and it is AA that we need to get to.
Did we find out whether our theme is currently accessibility ready?
Yes,
Did we?
we did in the teams.
Oh, that's
Okay,
good.
so the quote is valid at
Yeah, so that helps a lot. So the Society of Local Clerks has done this deal with a company where they would give you a compliant website at £700 plus VAT, and they would charge you £600 a year to make sure that it remains compliant. Okay, so the idea of looking at these other quotes is to try and see if that is the best deal that's out there.
So the other ones, did they include the annual, with that?
They do an audit. They do an audit of what you're putting on,
Yeah.
because they train you in what you can put on. So they train Nicola, they provide Nicola training as to what she can put on and how she can put it on, and then they would do a test. Was it a quarterly test? Quarterly test to see whether or not it is compliant, remaining compliant.
But
There's
the
two different options there really. Is you
Yeah.
audit the current website and try and get up to spec, or you scrap the current website and you build a new one that is
Yeah.
definitely compliant.
Were quotes A, B, C and E all for building a new,
They're all for the audit.
just for the audit?
Just for the
Just for
audit.
the audit.
Yes, yes.
And most of them include helping writing the statement.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they ask for that specifically.
Yeah, so you've got to, you could say D, at the cost it is a significant, is the best value for money
For the audit.
for the audit. Yeah, and then you have to bear in mind that there will be a cost then to get
Up to speed.
a website that is compliant.
Part of the compliance is ongoing monitoring.
So,
More often.
and we know that there is a package that is available at £700 with the ongoing £600 ongoing annual cost. I think it would be wise if the council were minded to go with option D for the audit, to ask those people what their costs would be to help, because they've talked about being able to help the council make it compliant, and whether
Yes.
there's an ongoing cost, that whether or not there could be something along those lines.
That makes sense to me.
Yes, because there is the thought and the hope that our current system could be made compliant.
Because we use
Yeah.
WordPress, and the company that are used by the Society of Local Clerks tells us that their website would be based on WordPress. So the new compliant website would be based on WordPress.
So
So we're hoping that our existing website could be made compliant, but it
So,
doesn't.
Does that mean then that the D folk, we ask them for the information that if we wanted them to help us, one, correct it, and two, maintain it, and if they could give us a quote for that, then it can appear.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
They
they
don't know how much it will cost to correct it until they know what the problem is.
Yes,
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 but
I
we don't
understand
know.
that.
Some of it I can correct. So if for instance, it's the fact that PDFs are uploaded incorrectly, I can re-upload the PDFs in the correct
Yeah.
form. So that's
Yeah.
something I could do. Adding text to images, for instance, I could do. Changing the code, beyond me.
Yeah,
And you've done, was it last month, supporting documents, you'd added in something that, you've done an online scan,
Yeah.
free online scan, 10 documents checked, 63% non-compliant.
Yeah, and actually one of the quotes that I got also did a
Yes, they
short,
did, didn't they?
and they came out at 55%.
Yeah.
So
It
we're
is.
not compliant.
So it's not going to be easy to maintain compliance. I thought once we were compliant, maybe it's quite easy with the training how to do it, but you think it's not very easy to maintain
Some of it,
I
compliance.
think some of it will be, and it's a question of making sure that any documents you upload, you have to form the PDF in the right way, and the header menus have to be there, and it's how you, so like for instance I set up a page for the LHI bid, and it's the way I then add that page to the menu options. Is that added correctly so that it could be navigated, so you have to be able to navigate menus by using a keyboard, for instance. So somebody who didn't have the dexterity to use a mouse navigates using a keyboard, you have to be able to get through, and they talk about like dead ends
yeah.
your keyboard navigating, because you get to the stage where you just can't get to that last menu
Okay.
because the keyboard
We run out.
menu is not set up correctly.
Oh gosh.
So presumably, most things will be okay, won't it? It's just the odd,
Yeah.
the odd one will be hard to.
So whether you would need a quarterly check or whether it would be less frequent.
And we can
Has
talk to
anyone
these people.
Has anyone reviewed in detail these different quotes to understand why some are like almost 10 times?
Well,
I'm hoping
they're
that-
all a similar figure, aren't they? Those other quotes.
The other four.
Yes.
They're all a similar.
Yeah,
They're
I
all
suppose.
bigger businesses who have seen an
But the remit's
Can I
the
say,
same, isn't it?
have seen an opportunity in the market to
But
earn
also,
some
from
money out
their
of
point of
this
view, they
situation?
may well be getting a lot of calls, and therefore things go up because you have to work
Absolutely.
overtime. So
Yeah.
I would like to think that Dee's giving us a good deal because they're local.
And what a lot of these bigger companies do is they've actually got a team of people who are disabled and actually try using it,
Yeah.
using their own screen reader or navigating the menu,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, the issue that they have, so that they can actually give live feedback, if you like, from
Yeah.
the user's point of view.
But it sounds like we need to get the audit done first, whatever we might do after
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And that's,
And I think we need to
If we
ask
did-
them to do the audit quite quickly.
Yes,
And
and
to get
then,
it, because you've got till the 20th of September, then we have to have something.
To have the accessibility
Yeah.
statement at the very least.
we should, presume we shouldn't take, depends how busy they are, doesn't it?
Depends what they find. What
Yes.
the website does. We know in discussion that the stuff that is scanned for the annual audit isn't a readable document because it's got,
It's handwritten.
yeah, and how can you make that?
It's then a picture,
yeah.
Yeah.
so a screen reader can't read it because it's just a
What
picture
do
of
you do
words.
about that?
Well, that's what we're
It's
going to
very
find out.
difficult to do. What you can do within the accessibility statement is say, we know these documents aren't accessible. If you would like an accessible copy, or you would like,
It reads out something that says, please
contact the clerk.
We need a Kindle version of the website.
Well, even a Kindle won't read English.
Yeah. And so
Right.
there's how much of that goes on there.
So mulling around that, I think the general feeling is that if we go with option D, £395 as a starting point,
Yeah.
with no commitment to the next stage, but just find out what's actually wrong, receive the audit, and then take it a stage at a time. So that's my proposal. Can I have a second of that one, please?
Oh, right, yeah.
That just
Sounds okay.
that. Yeah.
Sorry,
All in favour?
just go through your proposal again slightly slower.
To ask supplier D,
To do the audit.
I'll ask. You heard it, Karen.
to audit the website in line with their proposals.
Yeah.
But to note that we require a website at AA standard.
It's
Because there is a question as to what standard you want it to, and it needed AA.
That's has already been fed back to
Right.
quote D.
And then do we need to also ask them to quote for the maintenance of the website?
Yeah, that ongoing.
As
I
I said,
presume that once
the
they've
rectification and then the ongoing
Yes.
compliance.
I presume that will come with the audit, won't it? Once they audit, they'll say these are things wrong with
Well,
it, and this is the cost.
I think they'd be able to quote for ongoing compliance without knowing what's wrong with the current.
But they say, until we've tested the existing site, it's impossible to make it required, if any, and therefore impossible to be pricing. So let's ask them.
Yes,
So
take a step.
sorry, there are two different things I'm talking about. One is that, well, the audit, we've talked about that, yes.
Yeah.
Then you need to either rectify the current website or set one off. And then thirdly, you need the regular,
Ongoing,
Check.
yeah. Yeah, so that's what we should be asking them.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
We're proposing that we ask them
We're,
to quote
we're
for,
proposing that we also ask and ask them to quote.
Yeah.
for rectification and then maintenance.
Not so much for maintenance as ongoing
That's
assessment.
fine.
Yeah.
Ongoing audit.
Yes. It's a thing.
Yeah, all that audit.
Yeah.
Ongoing compliance audit.
I'll still say.
Okay, so I've got proposed that council agrees to quote D to audit website and ask them to quote for rectification and ongoing compliance audit.
Fine.
Yeah.
Peter's seconded that.
Yes.
We all happy? Great, okay, thank you very much. That's good. Right, moving on. Where are we up to? Public sector. Right, can discuss some from the response to the PALC. People are associated with a survey as part of the current business review. Now, is this one that I can do with the clerk?
Yes.
Are you happy to do that? Just have a sort of a brief.
I did have it open, but it's.
I don't think it really, does it affect us that much?
It's not very certain.
This wasn't one about toilets.
So,
No, that's
I have it here.
Yes.
Would you like me to run through some of the questions?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they're questions that the clerk can answer.
Is your council able to access NALC directly without belonging to CAPALC?
No.
Would your council be interested in structured training courses for clerks in any of the following? SILCA, CPD, RFA. Would your council be interested in structured training courses for councillors in these specific areas? Basic course, advanced, how to respond to planning application? Which other courses may your council be interested in? And then there's one here that says, would your council be interested in the following guaranteed and underwritten services? Training bursaries? A money tree? I know that's coming up later, isn't it? Professional ad hoc HR service? And knowing that services are professionally underwritten, would your council be willing to pay separately for some of these tailored individual services? So it's a survey about what they can offer by way of training and whether we pay for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're happy for our clerk to answer on our behalf, I would propose that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We're always open to being
Propose that.
informed and trained.
That's what I'm proposing. Can I second that one? You're seconding it, all in favour?
I'm spreading it out, allowing other people to
Okay, thank you very much for that. And, yep, now, this is a toilet tax here now.
Yeah, oh yes.
I presume this is the one. Again, it doesn't really affect us,
No.
but discuss and decide upon the response to the survey regarding the application of business rates to public conveniences owned by local councils. Now, obviously, some councils have public conveniences, and some have decreed that these buildings will now be subject to business rates, and there's some kind of survey going around about whether they think this is fair or not.
It's a very simple survey.
Okay. It strikes me that given that we don't have here any public conveniences, that our responding in any direction is not appropriate. It's not, it doesn't affect us. It doesn't affect.
True, unless you can put yourself in the shoes of a council that does have one and suddenly finds it's got to find more money. I mean, you can, as a council, and all
Yeah,
the
but
money
we
that we're...
don't have a vested interest.
Well, we have both, because obviously...
Public toilets might close,
Exactly.
professionals will have no toilets to go to because
Yes.
other councils won't be able to afford to.
Yes, you have the two things. As a council, we can appreciate the problem, and as parishioners, we can appreciate that problem. So it's
This was a motion that went through the House, but was due for its second reading when Parliament was prorogued.
I'm ahead of you.
Sorry,
Do the
just
second reading, yes.
Yeah, but Parliament was prorogued. So they're asking for it to go back on as a motion.
They're also talking about asking businesses like cafes and stuff to make their toilets open to the public. So I think this will shift towards moving public convenience. Anyway, that's on the side. I'm kind of neutral.
Okay.
So, but this survey, 1, name of your local parish council. 2, which your county association
That's right. And then
is.
you,
3, does your local council manage public conveniences? No.
and then you jump to item 7.
Then, well, there's the last question applies. Would you
Yeah,
support?
you jump to the end.
Do you support the campaign to end business rate liability for local councils on public conveniences they own or manage?
Yes, so it's a question of whether we feel strongly, or we could just abstain. Really, it just depends whether we feel.
I would support a campaign to end business rate liability for local councils.
It does seem like
Because
It's business, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a service.
but it's not that business. It's all about
It's a
service,
service.
isn't it? I think I would support us saying that we should
Yes.
ask for that to be ended,
Mm.
because as you said earlier, Laura, the public toilets will be closed down.
People need toilets sometimes for
Yeah.
reasons other than.
Okay, so that's
More money there.
2 things. Then really, the proposal is that we would complete the survey, and we would be in favour of it being sent back to the House for a second reading, effectively. That's the proposal. Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah.
And then, are we all in favour, or are we going to abstain? Or just, yeah.
Oh,
All in favour?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Completing and sending it back. Right, so that's that. Right. Discuss and decide upon sending a representative. Right, this was, we found out about the Eastern Area Community Forum, which was this, keeping an eye on the A428 from the Black Cats and Gibbet. We weren't included in the previous forum. We are now included on the forum. So really it's a question of anyone would like to go to that forum.
Where was it, the 18th?
It's Wednesday the 18th of March,
Yeah.
7 till 9.
Now I think
On the
online
Great
we can go.
Campbell.
So if anyone wants to accompany Nicola on the 18th,
I'm slightly interested that one of us goes.
I would love to go, having gone to so many about day 14, but I can't go on that day. Well, I can't go on that day at any time. So sorry, otherwise I would have put my name forward.
I can't go either on that
Okay.
day,
well,
I'll need to check the diary
Yeah.
again, but my interest in it is the impact on traffic when it ends up in this area.
It's not going to be built, is it, till 2022? That's when they're going to commence work on it.
Hoping to still be around.
Yeah. No, I was looking at the film, I was quite amazed that it was so long.
I thought it was 21 they were going to get the approval, but it's
Oh, that might be when they get the approval,
right.
Yeah.
but it's
And work
2022
actually
before it
commences.
commences.
Oh, okay.
I checked diaries and.
Okay. Well, I think our clerk is off to go, so if anyone, are we giving the numbers?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So if anyone suddenly finds themselves through in the
Pushing on about the traffic modelling things with our meeting, based on the A48 as well, though, because I think
Exactly.
it's going to change traffic routing potentially when that opens and has a quicker route down to the A1 that way. As there's no route to the A1 south currently on the A14 without going north.
There is potential there.
But it's a question of how easy it is to join the board to actually.
It's going to be a roundabout, it looks
Catch
easy, yeah.
It's going to be a 3-level roundabout.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Then there's
3-level roundabout Black Cat. Don't know, it's 3-level of Cat.
There's something funny else as well, isn't there?
Well, let's go and find out.
Yes. Okay. So let's find out and we can report back. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Proposing.
I'm proposing that the clerk goes to this forum
Possibly, yeah.
and possibly a councillor accompanies. So any second of that? One second of that, please. Second. All in favour of that, actually? Report back as a big team, mate. Okay. Right. Where are we on the next one? Discuss and decide upon. Yes, this is interesting. Discuss and decide upon necessary works to restore the path between the end of Church Lane and the entrance to the churchyard. Now, you've seen the photographs.
Yeah.
And
Sorry about that.
yeah, you saw the sun was out.
Yeah.
There's a dog tail in.
And yet, is there a dog there?
Oh yes. Bottom right corner.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, oh yes, I actually went and looked at it, but yeah.
Yes,
Um,
I see it in real life, that's okay.
Obviously we've got no quotes, we don't know what's happening with this, so I really am minded. It's the issue is that it's
Whose is it?
sorry?
Is it ours?
It's our land, it's crossing the land, so we would, I think, be responsible for it.
Any reason it wasn't, I know it's not the same surface, but why couldn't we have included it with the other
That's
half?
what we've done.
I think the problem is this is the main entrance to the church. I think you have to
The
consider.
other end is the same, isn't it?
Well, I think you park your car, if you had somebody with a wheelchair, you'd probably park on the half standing on the tarmac.
Although we did discuss widening it, the whole reason it was agreed to apparently widen that bit between the village hall car park and the church to a metre was for disabled access.
That was to go to Village Hall.
No, from the village hall car park to the church was
Yes.
widened to a metre.
Indeed, because when they have wakes and things, then they can, but I think if you were going to the church, you generally go that way. But again, if we're considering making gravel, then the tarmac's got. I think the problem at the moment is the tarmac is uneven and therefore a trip hazard.
Yeah.
So it's a question of whether. I mean, I was mindful to pass this to the Greens lot, our green
Yeah.
management
So
lot.
we did the rest.
Office.
Hmm?
Your green open spaces officer.
Well, I think he has to discuss it with his chums, wouldn't he? The Green Club would have to look at this. Because it's a question of what services could be available, or whether we can patch it up in the meantime by putting tile on the ramps or something, or whether we just go for a dig up and or replace or whatever.
So Green Spaces Group needs to look at it and
Yes,
decide
and come back to
what's
quotes.
doable.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I think tonight we just have to start the ball rolling. It doesn't always stop here.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Well, there are two suggestions. One, we send Mike Evans at Highways a little email to ask him whether they have...
Well, I was thinking that, but surely they're not going to have a tarmac
They,
left over at the end.
they said that there could be, on days they make up patches, excess stuff.
That's the concrete.
Yeah, I know it's not good, but we could ask him whether there's any
Okay.
little bit of tarmac that's left over.
You've never seen the size of it.
Yeah, I know. But if there is, then it's great, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
The other one was under 1921-88, we have to discuss some remedial action to something else, and should this be included for a quote when we're getting quotes for...
Yeah, but it's different. It's potentially a different service, isn't it? So don't jump the gun.
No, but if people are in town doing that sort of thing,
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure that would be part of it. Yes.
you don't want them to come, you don't want it to go out and
No.
then say, oh, actually, we could have done that.
Well, I mean, I take on board. I mean, I did also think about A14 whether they would be prepared to, whether any sort of grant money was available.
Yes.
But could I also suggest we ask County Councillor Ian Bates to discuss with the highways people, Cambridge highways people, if they have some tarmac left over on a job that they are doing, that they come and put it on back, because it is the entrance to the church, so it might have more of a sway.
There could be a cost involved, couldn't there? Either way.
Well, that's
Well,
fine.
I suppose.
A fancy pothole machine, can I not use that?
Dragon.
Oh, yeah, the dragon.
Well, I suppose we could do a two-point approach, couldn't we?
Yeah.
We could send it back to the Greens committee to look at that. Or alternatively, we could approach these two organisations and ask for their comments. Don't come and fix it, but
No, let us know.
would you ever see that you would have?
No harm in asking.
Yeah, excellent.
Are you okay to? Okay. So do I need a proposal, separate proposals for all three of those?
Probably two in there.
Okay, so the first proposal from Peter is that we approach CCC and Highways England A14 delivery team to ask if they would be interested, or whether they could see that they might have some tarmac left over at the end, whether they could comment on that. We don't want to do the work, just
We do, they've got time.
comment on the
That's
right.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the first one. Can I have a seconder to that one, please? And a seconder for you, please? Yeah, okay, thank you. And the second option is to send it to the Green Management Group to discuss what options are available and come back to quotes.
Because they'll do.
Yeah, that's my proposal for that one.
I'll second that.
Second one, are we okay with that?
Yes.
Two-point approach.
That's a good plan.
Apart from that bit apart, Are there any other footpaths or alleyway paths at Parish Council?
Yes, the footpath between Kidman's Close and Cotton Road is owned by the Parish Council. The Parish Council asked for that to be... So, do you know, halfway down Kidman's Close,
Oh, yes.
there's a footpath that goes behind the ex-clerk's property
Comes out where the village sign.
and comes out by the village sign. Yeah?
Okay, yes.
That is the Parish Council footpath. It was, the Parish Council asked for it to be put in when Kidman's was being
Oh, yes,
built,
yes. Yes.
and Cambridge Council wouldn't adopt it.
What about the Scots Close one that links to like a church? No.
That's tight, isn't it?
No, it's a mix.
Well,
Mud.
Yes, it goes down People's Drive, doesn't it? Which
There's
is
a
HDC
drive and
owned,
there's a
isn't it?
small alleyway at the end.
Behind. Off Scots.
Off Scots,
Scots
coming
Close.
towards the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got the
So-
big bit that's gravel that goes to the drive, then it
Yeah.
goes to a small.
That gravelly bit, the drive bit, is mostly owned by Huntingdon District Council. A large chunk of that driveway is HDC. The Parish Council owns the first bit of that, off of the road, if you like.
Yeah.
But then, just as it comes to the corner roughly, that is all HDC, up to the fence where the footpath then goes through. I think the footpath is CCC, not the Parish Council. Is that in the state?
Well,
It's another old land.
Which bit, the footpath or the road?
The footpath is sort of non-passable as a footpath when it's bad weather, it's just a big puddle. That's all valid, if there's anything that can be done about it to make it less of a big puddle.
They asked CCC. I think it's CCC. Yes, because they had responsibility for the other footpaths.
Well, I'll tell you what, then, if we ask the Greens to look at the footpaths generally,
Yes. Well,
we
those
can-
aren't
that
covered.
motion that I proposed, we could extend it to them to look at footpaths generally.
Yeah, because they have looked at footpaths,
Yeah, but only the ones on the Green, haven't they?
but the one going up Gravely Way,
Yes.
on the left-hand side,
Yes,
all the way up, was looked at as well.
Yes, and they-
And CCC came and did the work on
they did. Yes.
it. 2 years ago?
I don't
A
know.
year or 2 years ago.
They put black.
They did.
They did.
Yeah, it was all right job. It was good.
Okay. Fine. Are we over there?
And also, I'm just adding also other footpaths
Yes.
in the village.
Yes.
You'll actually just put your hands up again.
Are we still happy with that extension? Yeah. Fine. Okay, now, I believe this item has changed a bit. Item 183. This is discussed and decide upon the motion to purchase 2 silver birch trees to be planted between the Brown, near the Ford and Lichgate. Was the agenda actually changed?
The agenda wasn't should have been issued, but you can amend the motion.
Okay, so it's effectively,
I'll put in the supporting document.
yes, it's effectively two trees which will go on the Brow. You know where the crabapple was planted recently? We had a couple of big hornbeams were taken down, and it's left a bit of a hole. So our Green Open Spaces officer has requested that we purchase 2 trees to go in that gap. One would be a silver birch and one would be,
Alamakia.
now the other one, the Alamakia, is that right? Yeah. Is proposed to be a memorial tree, and that one will be planted nearer to the bench, and the silver birch would be between that tree and the crabapple. So you've got the costs there. Sorry,
Sorry.
yeah, you've got the costs there. Really, the tree that's a memorial tree has been offered to be paid for. So, I mean, we would, I presume, we'd have to pay the whole lot. It would be easier, wouldn't it, and then we get reimbursed, wouldn't we? Otherwise, it would be difficult to go to the nursery and say, here's some money from us and here's some money from...
Could we propose that we as Parish Council have agreed that we would cover the full cost?
Yes.
So that could be done, but if the parishioner wants to, if the person wants to just pay it directly, they can, and then our cost is reduced.
Yeah, but they pay us.
But they may not want to. They may want to pay it directly.
Right.
They may.
Okay.
So
Fair
in
enough.
other words, we're giving the donating person the option to pay it directly
Yeah.
or through us.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Because that covers off the amount of spend, maximum.
Yes, I suppose we've got to step back with whether we're happy to plant 2 trees in an area and
Yes.
whether the species recommended are we're happy with.
Yes.
Okay, so the proposal is
about how to. So you've got to table it and amend the original motion to vote upon, and then the original motion of 2 trees has to be voted upon.
Okay, note from Clerk. Okay, so because the tree have changed, the type has changed, we need to table it as an amendment to the original motion, and we need to be voted upon. Right, so what is it?
So you need to vote that you're amending the motion,
Okay,
that you're changing it from 2 silver birch trees to a silver birch and a mankia.
right, that's the proposal. I'll second that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and saying yes.
Yeah.
And secondly, all in favour? Okay,
Yeah.
so we amended it to 2, and then we have to agree.
Then you have to agree to purchase 2 trees.
Then, okay, are we happy to purchase 2 trees?
A max of 2 trees,
Maximum.
but may end up being 1.
Yes,
At
so
the cost of 100.
112 is the max cost,
Yeah.
but it might be less. That's the proposal to pay that sort of money.
Yeah.
Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and all in favour?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good. Okay, and that will be done 8 March, April time.
Yes.
So let's give them
And the instructions of the
The person donating would like to have it done by the 26th of April, by the way.
yes.
Did we ever get anywhere with the whole memorial tree discussion? That
Well,
kind of
it's out there, and it needs to be. Every time we had this conversation, you say, "Oh, it's got details. We need a map." So we do.
There's going to be a map.
We agreed that we would do any trees that anyone requests at
Yeah.
any location.
Yeah, and there'll be a map of it. There's supposed to be a map of all the memorial trees. It started, but we do need to. Maybe it's.
Could the clerk ask the Green Committee?
It started by an earlier clock. So I mean, the information is there from a long time ago, but whether it's the idea is we're going to go into a map rather than just
Yeah.
writing.
How long ago was that?
Oh, okay. So I think a long time ago. It's not on the agenda, so I can't do it all.
No, sorry.
But we'll bear it in mind to
I just wanted to
raise it.
check before we agreed to it that we were happy that we could do memorial trees, because I know
Well,
we talked
the-
about memorials and other things that we couldn't do.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. The crab apple is a memorial tree with the donations for Village Hall. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you very much. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Spring cleaning. Now, you've got some supporting documents here. We did one some time ago, but that was a refuse type of thing. This one is a spring clean. This is potentially different.
Cleaning trees and what?
Well, cleaning signs, cleaning the car park.
Not picking litter along the B1040.
Yeah, I've done that.
No, it says you're not to pick
Not on
litter
A or B
on
roads.
A or B roads.
Does it?
Yeah.
But I thought it was litter picking, because it does talk about...
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying, previously with litter,
Yeah.
we can decide what we want to do. We went for the 4th of April because the week after is obviously Easter, and the comments from HTC is that they're expecting a bit of a high demand for equipment, and so the more notice they have, the more chance they will have of being able to accommodate us. So there's many sort of things. Are we happy to go for it? Bear in mind it was probably 3 or 4 years ago we did the last one.
That was clean for the Queen.
It was.
Yes,
And I think it might be.
So this is what we've got in here, community litter pick.
Yeah.
It's not just, this is just an example of some idea, so this is...
I thought this was what it was about.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So is it?
Yeah. In the supporting documents, the community litter
Because all the,
toolkit.
it says all they provide are grabbers and refuse bags and high vis
Yeah.
jackets. So
But that's what's HTC running, isn't it?
yeah.
As
Is that
opposed
not
to.
what this
It is HDC, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's not what
but
this spring clean is.
Well, I think there's a spring clean,
Yeah.
part of that, and then HTC are telling us what they can provide. I don't know who came up with the Great British Spring Clean idea, but it wasn't. I don't think
okay,
it's
not HTC
no
initiatives.
okay.
HTC are supporting that idea.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a national thing.
Yes, and they're providing.
And they will
whatever
provide
can.
that if you do the risk assessment
Yes.
and put it in. sufficient time, HTC will supply you with those bits.
Well, it's different because previously they gave us all the equipment. Now it looks like we've got to go and pick it up and do a sign through. But basically they are going to help us, or they've offered to help us. It's a question of we need to get ourselves in gear to do that. So there's many questions really, whether we want to do it, whether we think we can get enough help from parishioners, or whether we think it's a good idea.
Now,
Next stage, really.
the Clean for the Queen thing was something that you set about organising, and you had a great response, didn't you?
Yeah, and learn quite a lot, yes.
Yeah. And the brownies came out to do
They
bits
did.
and pieces,
They
didn't they?
did.
And it was,
And we did the B1040.
yeah, but this is community, this is a bit, civil bits that definitely don't go on
Okay, whatever, yes.
A or B road.
No, we can read it in more detail if needed. If we
So it would appear that it was something that grabbed the attention of parishioners, and they wanted to get out there and clean up some of
Just
the
do it.
stuff. I can't say more because I'm not here.
No, but it's not a parish council thing. It's the parish council will start it or organise
The whole
it.
thing is occurring between the 20th of March and the 13th of April. So
Yes,
It's come from Keep It Written Tidy.
Yeah.
I just found it online.
yes.
Yeah, thank you.
But I say we went for the 4th because that gave us enough time to get things moving. And still give a month's notice.
I think just do it.
Yes. Okay. That's what I was hoping to say. So yes.
Advertising.
I think it would be good to advertise it to brownies and rainbows
Yeah.
and the other
Absolutely.
things.
Well, what I was going to suggest is that I would we say yes. And then we can put the wheels in motion. It would be nice if we could sort of put notices out to parishioners and get a sort of indicative response. Because it would be nice to know how many people are hoping to attend. Based on that, we can then decide what bits we can do and how many bits of equipment we need.
Yeah.
So
Does that mean we're surveying them or asking them to respond online?
just mention that there's a spring clean coming up. Would they be interested?
And
Attending.
to let us know.
Yes, so that we can get the right number of.
I think it would be good. What's I find limited on the previous thing is when it's like between 10 and 12 or something. If we say it's the whole day, turn up here when you can,
Yes.
people are more likely to be able to do it because quite often people have cleanings a certain time of the day.
And that's actually a good point because last time we started at 10 o'clock, we had everyone at 10 o'clock. And it's quite hard to pass people off.
Yeah.
Because you don't want everyone to go in groups, so if people do turn up throughout the day, or certainly in the morning, then yeah, that's good. Okay. So are you happy to leave that with myself and the clerk, or I can then email them for help? And if you've got any ideas as to something that needs cleaning, just drop us an email or drop me an email. You know, you might have seen something that, well, obviously this is the easy one.
I was just going to say the same.
What's that?
I don't mind.
Was it a house?
I've heard.
By the way,
Sorry.
very
good.
Some
Very good.
parishioners are having moth infestations. Would you like to include that?
No,
Really?
that's-
On the carpets? Is moth eggs that get on the carpet?
Yeah, I don't know. But so I'm contacting somebody today who said, "Oh, we've got moths again." We could include that on the list.
Okay, so I presume you need to propose it, don't I? Can I propose that we do something on the 4th of April?
Yeah.
I'm proposing it. Can I have a seconder, please? And
Yes,
seconding,
yes.
all in favour? Hurrah! Thank you very much. Okay. Right, to discuss the consultation on a local enforcement plan for minerals and waste development in Cambs. Now, this is the minerals plan that we've seen before. This is now the consultation on the enforcement. Closing date 8th of April. Now, luckily, it's 8th of April, so we don't have to decide one tonight. Or
Well, I've read through the
I don't know what
document.
there's to say really.
What's the material point though?
It's all about how they
It's
want
the
planning
to
breaches.
enforce it. So yeah, breaching planning applications. So one thing that came up was like the HDB routing agreements and stuff, but it's all about how they enforce it. So
Rather
I
than
don't
others.
know what we can really
Actually.
comment.
Yeah.
But
Well, unless we're saying, we don't think you're coming down hard enough on them. Urge them, whatever.
well, I mean, unless you just say that if you're going to do such a thing, then you must enforce it. We support any enforcement of such.
of planning regulations that
Yeah.
have been moved.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, okay, go for
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're proposing that the
proposing that the clerk sends a response that the council supports any measures to enforce the agreed policy.
And, yeah, appropriate actions are taken in line with the policy.
Council support.
We support the draft enforcement plan on the basis that Cambridge CCC will actually enforce as requested,
Yeah.
as required. Will enforce when required.
The vacancies.
Because we know that the local district council didn't enforce when there was a big planning breach up the road at the chicken farm, when all those buildings were built too big.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Up that road.
the 1040 towards St Ives.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, I was getting confused. It's over there and I'm like, isn't it that one?
That was down the green.
That's good.
No, that was done
Anyway,
That
what
one.
Galley Hill.
we know that they didn't enforce. They gave retrospective planning.
So we're going
So
to push the
build anything you want and you
So the clerk responds to state that the council will support the draft enforcement plan on the basis that CCC will enforce when required.
Good. That's
Yeah.
the proposal.
Yeah.
Peter, you seconded it, you, Peter?
Oh yes, that's
Yes.
yeah.
All in
yeah.
favour?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good. Right, okay. Right, this is, Anne touched upon this earlier. Discuss the application for the 2021-22 LHI funding bid. Now, the text we've had is they're proposing to bring it forward by 2 months so that everything can be up and running by the start of the financial year rather than sort of agreeing it at the start of the financial year. So effectively we have to, I don't think there's much to agree upon, but we just need to be aware that the LHI is being brought forward. So we're going to really have just 2 months. So we're going to have April and May to think about what we want and go for it.
Well, my suggestion would be that based on the meeting we have with Jeremy Smith and Jack Eagle and the input from various traffic groups, that out of all that we come up with our proposal. And if the meeting goes ahead on the 11th of March, we should be able to do that for the April meeting.
Yes, and then we can fine tune it in May.
Just do it.
Have we hear back from the other NHI?
Mid-March.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, he'll know, won't he? If you see him on the 11th, it's coming out the 10th.
Yeah.
Oh, bad time. He should have gone the 9th, shouldn't he? Oh, I can't answer that. I don't know. Yeah, and then say it'd be nice then if we perhaps discussed it in draft in April, and then commissioners could come back to us if they felt we got it wrong, and we could then fine tune it in May. Good. Okay. End of May. So I think we have discussed that. So that's good. Thank you very much. 187, to discuss the correspondence received from the Village Hall Committee regarding financial support from the Parish Council for the Village Hall. Now, you saw the letter from the Chairman. I think you can see from that there's no immediate urgency. It's a kind of looking at the future to what can be done to maintain the viability of the Village Hall, because it seems to be that the letting costs are just about keeping pace with the running costs. And so the request is sort of start negotiations or have a chat. So unless anyone sort of sees it in a different light, I'm going to suggest that maybe, I believe that other councils do own and run or support their village halls.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask our former lead clerk. You've got contacts at SLCC, whether you could find out how others
run their parish.
Yes. Because it'd be awkward to have a meeting with the village hall and say, yes, we'll do it with that, and then find we can't do it for some reason. So it'd be nice to know how others support.
How would we support? What's the...
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't know. At the moment, they are very financially secure because they've got a lot of money
What
in
level
reserves.
of lettings are there? I mean, what level of lettings are there? Is it empty most of the time?
I don't know, but it's about £11,000 worth a year.
Yeah. Income from lettings 10,700.
Yeah. So it's a lot of money coming in, but a lot of money goes out.
But I think your point is a valid one, is that it's not just sourcing funds, it's about having more market
Yeah,
the
it's a marketing
facility and increase it.
And they have been really good, haven't they? The committee have been really good at managing the
Oh,
lettings
yeah,
and
yeah.
making sure that it gets to a wide audience.
Yes, we've got
We
Facebook
might
page.
just need to.
Yeah.
But I think every time it comes back, when we go to the village hall meetings, it comes back that all village halls are seeing a decline in people
No, getting out.
getting out.
Oh,
Yeah, all bookings.
Because Venstampton didn't their village hall close?
They use the church.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought they were building a new one.
But it's a general feeling that all certainly village halls that we know about are having trouble filling it
Yeah.
as much as better.
Because I suppose at one point, I don't know, speaking from my own personal point of view, Hilton is a better place for having this facility.
At one point it might have been. But it depends, there's lots of people around who've refurbished their halls and...
Oh, but it's lovely, isn't it? It's a great village hall.
Yeah, but that's because you're local.
Yeah.
How far would you travel?
So how many people in the village would be prepared to have something got their precept to make a contribution to the village hall?
We'd have to ask, wouldn't we?
Indeed, indeed. But that's
Yeah.
whether we can do that.
Yeah. £2 a house,
Well,
it's £1,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, but we don't know. But say, this isn't an urgent thing,
No.
because you can see from the way that is written and the amount of liquidity they've got at the moment, it's not a crisis point, but they just see that they're keeping level with
Yeah.
the income and outcomes.
Yes, there was a little small surplus, wasn't there?
There was. But say there's a large amount of money that's been donated over the years. So it's a cushion. But, so if you're happy with that, we'll get the clerk to talk to SLCC and see what sort of options are. Yes, I'm going to propose that the clerk contacts SLCC or whoever and allow...
Other clerks in the local vicinity.
Indeed. That's my proposal.
Very good.
Can I second that? Lord seconding, all in favour? Okay. And then following that, we can then go and talk to the village hall with
Yeah.
these ideas.
Thank you very much.
Good. Right. What's next?
Well, there's no car park.
Discuss as I want again. It's a funny thing, the car park. It just suddenly goes, doesn't it? It was fine until a few months ago, and then you walk through it on a wet night and you think, oh, that wasn't very pleasant. It just suddenly goes.
I thought this was as much to do with vehicles parking everywhere else, but not in the village car park.
No,
it's two separate
It's two separate things, and I think
Yeah.
basically it's been a request that there's a pothole suddenly appear. So I mean, I think again we have to pass this back to the green pot because it's going to come under, as before it was mentioned, it's all part of paling and the paving things.
It is two separate things, isn't it?
It's not on the agenda.
Yeah.
It's not on the agenda.
No.
Agenda's
Which one's not on the agenda?
The
correspondence.
But we have to bear in mind that correspondence came in late and it said an informal chat.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm quite happy to pass that across to Greens
Yeah.
so that they can decide. I mean, the other thing is that we might even decide that the village hall can do the spring clean, village hall car park can do the spring clean, because the problem is that the mud comes off the grass and it's quite hard now to decide which is hard standing and which is mud. So you could actually clean up the car park and make it a bit easier to park.
There could be some remedial repair work required at the end of the hard standing on the side by the village hall, for instance, because it's quite wet.
Is this part of our spring clean?
Well, exactly. It depends how many people turn up as to what we can do. But see, there's no cost involved, but I think we those of us that walk through it at night time agree that there's something needs to be done with the car park.
Yeah, the potholes have come back, haven't they?
Yes, and it'd be nice if we had a maintenance man, if he could just rake it over a few times a year, because I think the problem is it doesn't get raked, so the stones then move around and don't come back in the hole. So it's one of those things that you have to keep looking at it.
Was it about 2014 that
I can't remember.
it's 2014-15 and £750, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that involved diggers, didn't it?
It did involve diggers, and it, the town trust kindly donated £250 towards the cost of that work.
Okay. So if we get the green up to see whether it's a digger job again, or whether it's a volunteer job with filling in the holes with gravel.
Yeah.
if anyone's got any spare bits of gravel lying around. Contact the
That's
Highways England.
Highways England, bit of concrete, always look nice there, wouldn't it? No.
Yeah, okay. So if you're happy for me, or for the clerk to bounce that back to, we accept that something needs to be done,
Yes.
and perhaps they could come back with a suggestion and indicative prices. That's
And
the
also
proposal.
address the correspondence.
Yes.
Terms. Yes, come in.
Yeah, that's my proposal. Can I second that, please?
Okay.
And say yes. All in favour?
Yes.
Hurrah. Good, thank you. Oh, right. Let's have an update from the clerk on the recruitment process for the maintenance person. Item 189. No, the clerk.
Yeah, only for
And a
a
hammer.
break.
Yes.
So with the recruitment policy that was adopted last month, that states that recruitment of other positions will be at the discretion of the clerk or appropriate officer of the council, depending on the role. So we've put in there, as an example, the Green Open Spaces officer will assist the clerk in recruiting for the maintenance person. So the council resolved to appoint a maintenance person back in November, agreed in the budget that the hours would be reduced to 3 per week. So given that there was only one applicant last time, I'll put the advert out again, and then Ian and I will shortlist and interview candidates, hopefully.
So that's just an update, we'll have to agree on that, so watch your space. So hopefully, well, I mean, you can set your own deadline, can you? Good luck. Thank you much. Right, item 190 is to discuss and decide upon the purchase of a new minute book. Cost £78 plus £27 paper. I was thinking, do our minutes for planning go in the same book?
Yes.
It's all the same. I've never actually looked at the numbers on top of the page.
Yes, we do. And we're up to 980 now.
Out of 1,000.
Out of 1,000.
Pages.
Yes. Well, no, because it's double-sided, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
400 pages.
I see.
And
So we've
you've,
got another 10 sheets to go in that book, and then it's theoretically full.
and you've recommended the £78.
I did look at buying the same book again, because you've had the same book for the last 2 minute books, and it's been discontinued. Is that
Okay.
Kalamazoo one? Yeah, it's all been discontinued. They don't do minute books at all anymore.
Do we have to have a physical book?
Yes,
Yes.
it's the legal record of the council. It has to be physically signed.
Good Lord.
And it has to be, that's why the paper, so that's £27 for a ream of
It's
paper.
ridiculous.
But it has to be long life paper that doesn't yellow over time.
Yeah.
You can go up, the next level above is vellum, is goat skin
Why can't
vellum.
we go
So-
paperless? What's going on?
Exactly, that's what
Because-
that's right.
Because
It has to last
HTC
in
and
perpetuity.
CCC have just built a very new, nice archive, and they need stuff to
Let's
go
get
in the future.
With paper.
Yeah.
But a ream is
We've got
500
technology.
pages,
Use
isn't
it,
it?
yeah.
So it's actually not horrendous per page.
No, well that 500, that would
But
fill the
compared to-
minute book. That's a minute book's worth of paper.
Okay. I appreciate it's
Assuming that I
five
don't
times the
mess
price
up.
that you've cost using.
So the book itself comes without any paper?
Yeah, it's
Plenty, but
it's
the folder.
It's the
the
folder
folder.
And it has a
with
fancy,
lockable,
has a fancy.
fancy lockable.
But this isn't
Oh, God.
one of the
This is
fancy
getting
leather ones, is it?
No, it's not fancy. It's just well, it's a standard minute book.
Yeah.
But the difference with this one is it's got fancy lockable pins. So in order
Yes.
to add sheets to it, you have to have the key.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Right. Right, but it's not a sort of fancy one that will be sort of.
It's not like a gilt one that's
No,
going to be displayed.
okay. So
but
it's
just-
reasonable quality.
No, yeah, it does, the plastic cover comes in a variety of colours if you would like to choose
No,
that.
I don't care.
But they're all the same price.
Fine. Okay.
Nobody sees them in it.
So the proposal is that we spend £78 plus 27, what's that, £105 on
Just
stationery.
somewhere at some point. Do they go
Yeah,
to
they
the
go to the
archive?
archives.
Every time you fill up a book, it goes.
Well, I think we're on minute book 7 since 1894.
I think,
Oh, it feels
I
like
think,
it's
1894.
Yeah, 1894 was when the parish council was formed. All parish councils were formed in 1894.
so the very early books are probably, hopefully in the archive.
Yes.
So
Hopefully.
only 7 books.
I've got,
7 books.
yeah, I've got the last 3.
I might have one.
Gosh. Gosh, I should
Oh, well, this is
Yeah.
singling out.
Yeah.
I don't know, 78 code doesn't seem so much then if it's got
Well,
a
it's
lot.
more- it's
Well,
more-
Yeah, well, the current minute book I think goes back to 2007 off the top of my head.
13 years.
I think you just have to do it.
We do, yes, well,
Unfortunately,
it's like many of these things you've done
It's a
tonight, you just
requirement.
have to do it, so yes. Okay. Fine, so the proposal we spend that amount of money, I'll second it, please.
Yes, I'll second it.
It's a second. Ladies, are we all in favour?
No, exactly. There are certain things, aren't there, that we have to spent.
Yes, but then you had to bring them to cabinet. It's a strange, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Spend time agreeing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so we've now moved on to the approved payments. I don't think there's anything too controversial on there. Standard tree work, the street lighting. Now I noticed the street lighting, this is Opus, this is our new people, isn't it? Are they working okay? Has the transition been good? The lights are...
No,
Oh.
the transition's been horrendous.
Okay.
You
At
mentioned
one
it
point,
last week.
at one point they wanted to charge us, did I get a bill for about £5,000 for a quarter? Because they changed all the estimate, because it's not a meter supply,
No.
they changed all the estimates, but UK Power Networks couldn't identify where Opus had got the numbers from, but Opus said those were the numbers, and they started sending me threatening letters because they'd cancelled the direct debit. I spent hours and hours on the phone to various departments within UK Power Networks and Opus to get us to this point.
And is this one what we expect?
It's slightly more than we expect, to be honest.
Right.
So we're looking at a few a year at this rate, because this is 2 months' worth, because it's taken me so long to resolve the issues.
So are they not sticking to the original quote then?
I'm still going to go back to them, because I'm not convinced that they are sticking to their original quote.
Yes.
But this direct debit has left the account.
Because one of the things was when we had the lights changed was that these LEDs would use less electricity, didn't they? Or I'm talking parish council stuff.
You're talking different
You're
subject.
talking different subjects.
Okay.
Parish council, most
This
of
is
parish
parish
council
council.
lampposts aren't
No.
LEDs.
So this opens it just for parish council.
Yes, this is
And
just
it's
the
not-
27.
I realise that as the words are coming out, it probably wasn't right.
It's not K&M.
A&M and the maintenance of those
Yes,
And this is
lampposts.
the power.
Yes, so these are expensive. These are expensive orange bulbs.
Yes.
Okay, right, okay.
So we're approving these even though it's already been paid anyway, so...
Well, you agree the direct debit, so you approve the payment.
But not necessarily no amount.
Yes,
Would be fair to say, wouldn't it? But
So you're going to
Opus.
investigate?
I am going
Yeah.
to follow it up with Opus, because I'm...
Beggars, I mean,
Beggars.
beggars. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to propose that they're approved, or signed off.
Yeah.
Can I have a second that? And second it? Yeah. All in favour? Thank you very much. That's good. Okay.
Amazing.
Now, if you could just spend half an hour on council items.
No. I want to go home.
Because according to the Good Council's Guide, the meeting should last 2 hours. So.
I think it's a maximum, it's not
Oh,
That's why you've been
Consider
going wrong,
this
you've been
as
trying
time,
to drag
this
it
is
out.
giving something back
On
to those
average.
meetings that go on.
Yes,
All
yes.
those
You're on
councillors
credit
that
now, are you?
Yeah.
no, we're not in credit at all. Anyway, there might be some interesting issues. Please then, council items.
No, thank you.
Okay, Laura?
No.
Anne?
No. Tried, I did think.
I've got 6. Well, thank you very much. Meeting closed. Very good.